Operating in the courts of heaven, continuing with chapter 9. Removing the legal right of the enemy. One of the best ways for me to explain this is through a personal experience. There is a lady very close to our family that was diagnosed with breast cancer. When this lady was 13-year-old, her mother had been diagnosed with breast cancer and she died at just 43 years of age. Disease had spread to her body just as now it was spreading to her daughter's body. The friend of ours was 43 years old when she was diagnosed, and also she had a 13-year-old daughter. The parallels were astounding. I knew we were dealing with a generational family curse. When she was on her deathbed, her husband called me and asked if I would pray for her. I went to her home, where there were already other people gathered at her bedside, praying for her. I placed my hand on her head, and as I began to pray, I felt the Father's passion to heal this woman. It was unmistakable. I had felt this many times before in many situations and knew it well. I prayed the best prayer I knew how to pray. I prayed with the unction and power of the Spirit of the Lord. It wasn't a natural prayer, it was a supernatural one. Yet 12 hours later, she died. She died at age 43, leaving behind a 13-year-old daughter, exactly as her mother had done. What a tragedy. It was only much later that I was able to explain why this had happened. At the time of the prayer, I did not know that this lady and her husband had connived to steal resources that belonged to someone else. The activity of dishonor and thievery had opened the door for the family curse to come upon her life. Proverbs 26:2 says that a curse has to have a cause to alight. Like a flitting sparrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. Proverbs 26:2. Curses are pictured as sparrows and swallows flying around and looking for a place to land. They cannot land unless the legal right allows them to land. This woman had a curse in her family that was circling her and looking for a legal opportunity to land and afflict her. She had actually confessed, professed, and done everything she knew to do to keep this away from her and her family for years. When she and her husband opened the door to the curse through their dishonor and thievery, the curse now had a legal reason to be able to land on her. Micah 2:1-3 shows what happened in the situation. Woe to those who devise iniquity and work out evil on their beds. At morning light they practice it because it is the power of their hand. They covet fields and take them by violence, also houses and seize them. So they oppress a man and his house, a man and his inheritance. Therefore thus says the Lord, Behold, against the family I am devising disaster from which you cannot remove your necks, nor shall you walk haughtily, for this is an evil time. Micah 2:1-3. God said, as if someone had been granted power through trust, uses that power to steal away inheritance, and disaster can come upon them that they won't be able to escape. This is what happened to the lady and her family. As a result of her participation in these deviant practices, the devil had a legal right to afflict her with a family curse. The devil was legally allowed to take her life though God's passion was to heal her. The only way the Lord could have healed her was if she had repented to what she had done. Then the power of the curse would have been broken, and God as judge could have fulfilled his passion as father legally. Remember, God cannot compromise himself as judge to fulfill his fatherly passion. We must grant him the legal right to judge to satisfy the desires of his heart as father. Otherwise, the devil wins and God loses. Even though his passion is always to do us good, when we grasp this principle, we will stop asking, why did God do something? Whenever something has happened, God cannot intervene until we give him the legal right to do so. His passion is always to bless, heal, and show mercy. This is why James 1:16-17 tells us that it is God's passion always to do good. Do not be deceived, my brethren. Do not be deceived, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. James 1:16-17.